Well, in the 18 years President Huston's been here, all you have to do is drive by campus to see what's happened. You know, people that remember 18 years ago will recall Lourdes Hall as the sole building on campus, and within those 18 years, actually within probably the last 12 years or 13, he has added all the buildings. That's the obvious signs of what he's done, but even more than that, he has created, you know, besides the infrastructure that's so important, including athletic fields, he has advanced academic programs, cultural programs, enrollment, obviously, and you know, you could go on for days talking about what he's done. You know, that's why not that long after he came here, he was made Grand Marshal of the Fall Festival Parade in Springfield. That's what people, you know, knew what impact he had on the college and on the community. You know, he goes obviously far beyond the campus as to what it means to Springfield and Washington County.
Yeah, from day one, and actually knew President Huston when he was in state government for many years. It's more of a question, what hasn't he done? Number one, he brought energy and excitement and vision at the very beginning, at a time when St. Catharine was a very, very small institution. He brought a lot of personal commitment. I can remember going over there and seeing him cutting the grass, painting buildings, whatever needed to be done to get the place up and running. And then he's been a tremendous fundraiser. The campus has been just revitalized. He's done a tremendous job of working with the sisters. I think it's easy to not recognize or to underestimate the way that relationship has evolved over the years. The sustainability initiative is fabulous. The relationship with the community, the vision to develop the medical school program, the medical programs. That niche has become critically important for St. Catharine, and really to be a partner for that part of the state, those counties. It's just, to me, he's done a phenomenal job.
Well, I've been with President Huston for 6 years, and one of the first stories he told me is that when he loved the college so much when he first came that he would even mow the lawns. And then when we had our first day of school, the first year I was here, 6 years ago, he said to me, "Look at this auditorium. I have 100 employees now. I had only 40 when we started." And then I thought to myself, when I came, that all he had in the beginning was Lourdes Hall, and now we have a beautiful collegiate campus. He also has taken the college from being a 2-year associate program to a liberal arts college, a 4-year program. And the important thing about that is that he's offering programs that really are a need in this county, in this part of the state, especially in healthcare. And our students and our graduates are working in hospitals and clinics all over the counties now. So I think those are the two most important things that he has accomplished, and those are the things that I'm proud of, that I've been a part of. He'd be disappointed if I didn't give him a little advice, since every time I see him, I'm asking him or telling him or encouraging him to do something. So here, Mr. Huston, is my advice to you. First of all, I hope that you will overcome those sleepless nights that you've had worrying about the college all these years. I hope you sleep late every morning. I hope you go on a long vacation and get a good rest. I hope that you are able to spend more time with your family, and especially I hope that you are really careful on icy days and stay off ladders. Good luck, Mr. Huston. I'll always remember you, and I'll be praying for you.
Well, I think I'd like to quote Mike Halloran, who wrote, "If you want to see the measure of the man or the tribute to the man, look at the campus." When I first came on the board in the early 1990s, we only had Lourdes, part of Bertrand, part of the Mother House building, and the administration building. And now we have the dorms, the health science building, and the library, which I think really shows the growth and the vision that President Huston had. He has taken a college that at the time had 101 students, very few programs. I remember we had an aviation program, but we didn't have an airplane. We didn't have a control module. We had nothing. And to the point where, as President Huston often reminds me, at one board meeting, someone on the trustees made a motion to close the college, but it failed for lack of a second. And I think that just about everybody expected the college to close, but it didn't, and it's grown from an associate granting institution to one that now has master's degrees, and someday we hope we'll have a doctoral program. There's so many things in President Huston's tenure, but if I could maybe go back just before his tenure, I was the chair of the search committee when he was chosen, and we actually interviewed 11 people. And when I called him, I said, well, we can only pay $50,000 and we have an old car. And he tells me it wasn't even $50,000, but I'm not sure about that. But he didn't hesitate. He said, I really want this job. And what I think a lot of people don't know or have forgotten is we didn't have grounds crew then. He came in on Sunday and rode the lawnmower to cut the grass. He picked up the litter. He virtually did everything. He was here on Sundays, and if somebody came along and said, oh, is this a college? He was running up the steps and getting information about it. A lot of people say that it is a miracle. I think it's a miracle. Dr. Wallace refers to it as the little college that could, and I think that's an apt description, and it's because of President Huston. Through it all, President Huston has been a man of great humility, and I have never heard him take credit for this. When someone says, you did this, he says, no, we did this. It's been an honor and a privilege to know Bill these 20-plus years, and I wish him all the best in his retirement.
I guess one of the big things for me that I think Bill has done over the last several years is he's created a situation in Springfield, which is a very small rural town. I love Springfield to death. My family's from there, but it's not the biggest town in Kentucky nor the most glamorous. And Bill created a situation where young 18-year-olds want to come there and spend 8 months a year or 9 months a year and study. And you know, that's special when you create something that they're willing to get out of the bright lights in the big city for. That's incredible. Well, a couple of things really stand out for me. I guess first and foremost, the library is just magnificent. And the first several years ago when I went to my first trustee meeting, I got lost and turned around and wound up in the old library and was walking around and just couldn't believe that that was a college library. And you know, I remember thinking that the Marion County Public Library was maybe a little bit bigger and may even have had a few more resources. So adding that library made St. Catharine's, you know, I don't think it's just the building, but I think the prestige, the curb appeal, the opportunity for parents and their kids and students, prospective students, to come in and look at that, not to mention what it does for the kids already enrolled, is just unbelievable. You know, another thing, earlier in the year I had a medical procedure, and over a couple of days I had some different scans and x-rays and sonograms and things, and 2 of the 3 technicians that did those were St. Catharine graduates. So it was really nice seeing a great program, kind of seeing what that program had spun out as far as this type of student, the quality of individual, and the type of person that is out there working and representing St. Catharine's. It's just really, really special.
One of my fondest memories of my tenure on the board, working with Bill, was when Wendell Berry came on campus for his first visit. It was quite an afternoon. Wendell really didn't want to see the campus. He wanted to tour the farm. And Bill got in his SUV, and Wendell rode shotgun, and Mary Berry and Den and I were in the back seat. And it was quite an afternoon. Well, at the end of the day, we were touring the farm for a couple hours, and at every gate, Wendell got out, opened them, and closed them, and wouldn't have it any other way. We got back into the president's office, and we were downstairs in the lobby, just having general conversation about the day and how wonderful it was to have them on campus. And all of a sudden, Wendell stuck his hand out to Bill and said, "Okay." And then they left. And the look on Bill Huston's face was incredible. He looked at me and said, "What just happened?" And I indicated to him that I had seen that look before in my grandfather's eyes, and we had a deal. And Bill was very concerned about the paperwork and how we were going to get everything signed, and I told him in due course, when Wendell stuck out his hand, that was his bond, and we were good to go. And sure enough, that's what happened. But you had to be there to see the look on Bill Huston's face when Wendell left without saying anything else, which is pretty much typical Wendell Berry. But it was a really great time for the school, and it's worked well. But the look on Bill's face that day was priceless.
Well, since President Huston arrived a little over 18 years ago, the college has been completely transformed. It began, as you know, as a 2-year institution, and then transitioned successfully to a 4-year baccalaureate degree institution. Since then, we've added a graduate program, which has elevated the offerings that the college has been able to afford to our area. The other thing Bill's done is he's invested so much of himself in St. Catharine that it's more than just a job for him. It really has become an extension of who he is, and the college then by its own extension has become part of what Bill Huston is. So we're all better off for having known Bill, having had the opportunity to work with him and be associated with him. And there's no higher compliment I can give than to say someone who found a place made it a lot better when he left that place. What I'll always take away from my association with Bill is his unflagging enthusiasm and persistence. No one 15 years ago could have looked out on that campus when all that was there was Lord's Hall and thought in the course of a little more than a decade you would see 90 acres covered with educational facilities, residence hall facilities, and athletic fields. And that to me is just a testimony to Bill's persuasive ability as well as his ability to get other people to buy into his vision. So great attributes, great tenure, and again, he's left the place certainly a far better place than the way he found it.
Well, in the 18 years President Huston's been here, all you have to do is drive by campus to see what's happened. You know, people that remember 18 years ago were called Lourdes Hall as the sole building on campus, and within those 18 years, actually within probably the last 12 years or 13, he has added all the buildings. That's the obvious signs of what he's done, but even more than that, he has created, you know, besides the infrastructure that's so important, including athletic fields, he has advanced academic programs, cultural programs, enrollment, obviously, and you know, you could go on for days talking about what he's done. You know, that's why not that long after he came.
When Len and I first moved here in 1997, some of the first people we met were from St. Catharine College. And we immediately felt that this was an area or a group of people that we wanted to get involved with. So we started to do things a little bit with the college, and the more we did this, the more we felt this was the organization that we wanted to support. One of the things that I happened to get involved with kind of on the spur of the moment was a little fledgling music group based at St. Catharine, and once we discovered that people loved to come to musical things, we said this might be a way to enhance the college's reputation outside of the student population by having something that adults could come to and enjoy. So we started developing a music group now formed into the Mid-Kentucky Chorus. Bill was very, very supportive in everything we did in that regard. He attended almost every concert we had. For a while we had him as our MC, so he was really involved, and we really appreciated his support early on and his continued support in that area. And we do enjoy Bill being in attendance. He always is one of our biggest fans. So,
one of the things that I recall very vividly is how when we were making these solicitations and we were getting various answers that ran the gamut of every way that you could say no that can be imagined. We had virtually nobody who was really solidly in our corner, it seemed like. Bill, for all of his determination, never lost his energy level. He continued to pursue these calls, and the whole while I was beginning to lose heart and think that we are on a failed mission right here. This is not going to happen. But it did become very clear in Bill's mind, which he mentioned to me, we need to start about the task of constructing some buildings. We need to do some things because if we don't, we are not going to have anything that potential students and their families can see. We needed some buildings. We needed to create, in effect, curb appeal. And with that in mind, Bill and I thought about ways in which we could borrow the money to begin to at least put some buildings up and then try to more effectively solicit contributions, donations to the college.
Well, I remember when Dr. Huston was being recruited to St. Catharine, and I thought it would be a terrific recruit if we could land him just because of his reputation in the community college system. I mean, it was fabulous. And we got him, and he's exceeded expectations. He's really brought an awful lot of stability to something that was more than fragile. And it's one of the great and lasting resources in the community, and we're certainly grateful. The one thing I'm not so grateful about was when he almost got me put in jail. He wanted some commemorative bottles for St. Catharine's 75th anniversary, and he forgot to tell me that St. Catharine's is in a dry precinct. So we do the holy thing and give him the bottles, which is totally against the law, and then goes and brags about it, which meant the ABC was put on the spot and had to come down and arrest us. So Bill, you owe us one. Hope you have a great retirement. You are one fabulous person.
Well, when I first met Bill, I had just come on the board. It was in 1997, and Bill came, and I did the final interview, got the opportunity to do the final interview with Bill, and I knew Bill was very dynamic just by listening to him talk that day at night at the interview. And then I had the opportunity to ride to Louisville to a meeting and with him one night shortly thereafter, and just talking to him, I knew Bill had a whole lot of good ideas. But over the years, Bill's done some amazing things at the college. I mean, he started with getting the land from the sisters and the donation of the land, and built the ball fields, and from there on built the first dorms and student center, and then added on to the dorms and he built the Hamilton Health Science Building, and then the library, and just in the new dorm, Aquinas Hall. And there were times that people would say, "Well, how's he going to do this? How's he going to do it?" But Bill always found a way. He always found a way. He was good at going out and meeting with people and getting contributions, donations for the college to help fund these projects. And without Bill and what he's done, I don't think St. Catharine would be here today. So I give Bill a lot of credit. I mean, I think there ought to be a statue erected for Bill out front, because I think he's just done so much for the college. But one thing, Bill and I share the same birth date, February 21st. He's a little older than I am, and we had quite a bit in common just when I first met him. He went to St. Joe, the high school, and graduated from there, and then I came. He was already graduated by the time I started at St. Joe, so we could tell a lot of stories about our memories of St. Joe Prep in Bardstown, and some of the stories we tell about the brothers and all. And I've just always been able to sit down and talk with Bill and about any situation, and we've been good friends. He came to the bank and asked for a contribution, and we, ever since Bill's been there, we've been a major contributor to St. Catharine College, and that's due to Bill's coming and asking, and asking for our help, and he's just he's an easy person to say yes to, and so I just wish him well in his retirement. I think he'll do well with whatever he decides to continue to do, and I hate to see him leave, but I know there comes a time when people reach that milestone in their life when they decide to retire, and so I think that Bill thinks it's time. He's put in some hard years. As Bill always said, he said, when I came here, my hair was brown, and he said, now it's white. So, but he's been a blessing for St. Catharine College.
Bill Huston, congratulations on your retirement. It's hard to believe that 18 years has come and gone since we interviewed you some 18 years ago at St. Catharine's. It was a fabulous 18 years. I cannot believe that it's gone this fast. I have a lot of fond memories on all of our buildings and grounds meetings, the new buildings that we have been able to put up over the years. The Circle of Friends over here in Nelson County has always been a highlight for many of us over here. And of course the golf tournament. This is our 25th year, and I've been on it ever since it first started, along with a few other folks. All of those events, I have nothing but fond memories. In the 18 years that you've been there, I have seen tremendous growth in student population, the number of buildings, but more importantly, the programs that we have been able to put together that have benefited not only the Tri-County area, but all the students that are involved. And a lot of that comes from your leadership. And that's something that we have been very proud of you for, is your leadership ability. So when you go into retirement, don't forget where all your old friends are, especially those over here in Bardstown. Come and see us. You're always welcome here in Bardstown, you know that. And being an old St. Joe boy, I think you know your way around over in Bardstown very well. As for any humorous or funny events that I can remember about Bill Huston, all I can say is I choose to keep those to myself, and you and I can share in those over the years. Come to Bardstown, come and see us, and on behalf of Lee and I, we certainly wish you a wonderful retirement. Thank you for all that you've done for us.
Dr. Huston, I'm sorry to hear that you're retiring, but I know it is. I certainly thank you for all the work and help, and the college has prospered very much. I remember being there when Martha Lane was there, and Tommy Hayden and I were down looking at the laundry room as far as making it into an office, and you were there then about that time, I believe. I cannot remember the exact time. But anyway, I have very fond memories and still have fond memories, and I know there's a lot of other things that you will be doing for the college in the years ahead in many capacities. I very much remember how persuasive you were, but each time I go down the highway, I look up and see my dad's name on the building, and I thank you very much for persuading me. Otherwise, I probably would have never done to make the gift that I did. So I do not regret it at all, and I look forward, and I thank you very much. And also being a St. Joe, not a St. Joe graduate, but a boarder, as you understand, means a lot from all of us that were boarders. So that was a lot of things we had in common, and so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of happy times yet ahead, and the college has prospered very well under your leadership. So thank you very much.
Bill has worked like a moose in doing all of this. I've frequently wondered how he can continue to go at the pace he's gone for the last several years. He certainly deserves a chance for a little peace and quiet, and hope when he looks back at what he's set in motion that he'll feel the rewards that he's entitled to. I have been most impressed, and I'm very grateful to Bill for all he's done in bringing St. Catharine to where it is.
Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of President Bill Huston, and the diocese, the Archdiocese, is very grateful. What has he done? He's a baptized Catholic who witnesses to his faith. I think that has been so evident in his whole person. He's someone who has really taken seriously the charism of the Dominican sisters to teach, and that has really come through so beautifully in his tenure as president. And there's been a great openness that I see in President Huston. First of all, an openness to the students. I can see his love of the students. Secondly, an openness to the faculty and to those who are involved in the teaching. And then, and I see this especially in the composition of the board of directors, a great openness to the community at large, including our Catholic community. And so I offer praise and thanks for his great leadership. Well, not long after I came in 2007 as the Archbishop of Louisville, I was invited to come to a commencement address at one of the graduations, and got there a little early. And so, as you might expect, President Bill Huston, he was the perfect host. He took me around and introduced me to people. And what I found, the students, the faculty, and those in the administrative office, I remember especially with whom he worked, he approached everybody with such dignity. I was very impressed by the connectedness that he had with others. And I have to tell you, he made me feel so much at home. I think that homey atmosphere that he was able to create that day is something that St. Catharine College has benefited from, and I think will continue long after he completes his tenure as president.